Good morning, CG. I'm Maya.
And I'm Anna, and we have your announcements for Friday, January 24th and this upcoming weekend.
Today we have a video about Girl Scout cookie season, a feature on the new teacher in the history hallway, a look at last night's choir competition, and a video about the work that goes into cheerleading.
January is the time of year where the weather is cold and not much activity is going on. The holidays are done and the reality of the new year has set in. However, something many people look forward to in these wintry months is the season of Girl Scout cookies. Now, typically these boxes are delivered by your sweet young neighbor girl. However, this is not always the case. Justin Morris and Connor Roach brings us a look at Girl Scout cookies at the high school.
When you hear about Girl Scouts, you might think of young kids coming door to door to sell you cookies. But there are a number of students at the high school who are still part of the Girl Scouts organization, and it is cookie selling season.
Alright, my name is Hannah Work. I'm in Girl Scout Troop 2333, and I've been in Girl Scouts since kindergarten.
I'm Rosie Mitchell. I'm a Girl Scout. I've been a Girl Scout for 11 years.
So this year we got new lemon cookies. We had the Savannah Smiles last year and the year before that, but what happened was on the West Coast, they have different cookies, and then it's like the s'mores cookies. We have the graham crackers, and then the chocolate and the marshmallow in the middle. They have s'mores, but it's the graham cracker, and then it's covered in chocolate. Then they have the lemon ups, which we have this year.
Pre-orders will be delivered early in February, and they are the only way to guarantee you get your cookies.
Pre-ordering is important because you know that you're going to get the cookies. Because sometimes, you can't find a booth at Kroger or anywhere else, because of course there's always going to be a booth, but sometimes you're not there in time or they sold out of your favorite cookies. So pre-ordering is a way to get what you want and then the fastest amount of time.
Cookies cost $5 a box and are only available now.
The money that we get from cookie sales, it goes into our Girl Scout Troop account, and we can do whatever we want with it. We could go on a girls trip. In the past, we've gotten paint supplies. We painted a playground at the Carefree swimming pool area, and we used our cookie money for, we did a play with Best Buddies. It was also our silver award in my 8th grade year.
Find one of these students today to purchase your Girl Scout cookies.
Thanks, guys.
Girl Scouts don't just sell cookies, though. When they get to the high school level, many Scouts undertake the Gold Project like Claire Kuntz has done. She's currently in the process of putting together 2 girls all Lego robotics teams at the Library Center in order to inspire young girls to get more involved in STEM-related areas. For more information, check out the full story on Trojaneer.com.
Another student that is currently working on a project is Graham Canwit for Eagle Scouts. He is working on making kits for homeless families.
So my Eagle Scout project is I'm making these kits for homeless families at a shelter downtown. I call them move-out kits, and they're going to be filled with basic items for these families, so that when they move out, they're going to have essential living supplies to keep them going for the first couple months.
In order for Graham to make these kits, he needs funding through donations. To learn more about potentially donating to this cause, keep an eye out for the story on Trojaneer.com.
There are constant changes here at CG, and one of the more recent changes is a student teacher for Mr. Hoover's econ class, as well as the primary teacher for the current events class. Let's go to Miley with the story.
Mr. Kern is a student teacher from Ball State, who is now teaching the current events class himself. He has had to quickly adjust from simply learning about teaching to doing it in front of a classroom.
I think there's been a little bit more of an immediate learning curve for me, just because I wasn't expecting to be, completely teaching a class right away. But I think it's a good thing to, give me that experience. And
Luckily, current events is not a class that needs to follow a strict curriculum.
Well, with current events, it's kind of as it happens anyway. So I feel like it's just been, paying attention to the news and what's going on in the world, and then just sort of adapting that into a classroom setting where we can think about things that are happening and then talk about them as a class.
In the future, Mr. Kern wants to teach at the high school level, so he understands how important the student teaching opportunity is.
It's always good to practice at something. It's hard to, walk right into especially a teaching job without having been a teacher in a classroom. It's been just the inner workings of what goes into being a teacher. You gotta take attendance and have everything all prepared and writing lesson plans and everything like that.
Although Mr. Kern is not employed by Center Grove, he has been able to connect with the students he works with and enjoys the community feeling of the school.
I think it's been pretty good so far. It's always a little awkward the first couple days, just kind of going into a class without them knowing you and you don't know them. But, it's important to kind of build a relationship, so I've been trying to do that. My favorite part is the feeling I get after, we finish a lesson and I feel like it went really well.
Thanks, Miley. If you see Mr. Kern around, be sure to say hello and welcome him here at CG.
Last night, choir had their first competition show. Let's go to Abigail for some more details.
Last night, the choir program had their pre-contest show to show off their pieces for their upcoming competitions. This is the first time that these shows have been performed in front of an audience since learning their routines in the fall. Sound system and depth tones ran their competition sets twice in order to simulate a real competition that features a day and night performance. The choir programs travel to their first competition in Fishers next week. If you missed the show last night, you can see it again on March 10th.
Thanks, Abigail.
A sport that sometimes goes unnoticed is cheerleading. The dedication of these athletes to spread school spirit and support the football and basketball teams often remains on the sidelines. Zach Alexander brings you a look at the work that goes into this complex sport.
Everyone sees the cheerleaders at the games, energizing the crowd with the classic cheers and the pom-poms, as well as our high flyers and tumblers. But what people don't see is what it takes for them to get game ready.
So we practice, it depends on how many games we have during the weekend. We practice Monday, sometimes Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we work on our stunts. We try to involve the crowd. We try to make it perfect so that we can really just show off our skill level.
As it is with every team, each member improves in different ways.
I have been able to improve most on my leadership skills this season and also my jumps because we do a lot of them before practice every single day.
We asked some of our varsity cheerleaders what got them into cheer and what their favorite memories were.
I got into cheer when I was in 6th grade when I tried out for Junior Trojans. I was in gymnastics, but I really just wanted to try something more out of my comfort zone and be more about going and show my personality.
I started cheering for the school in middle school. I did it a little bit when I was little.
Some of my favorite memories would be when we go to IU camp over the summer and we just have a really fun time. We jam music every single night, run around in the dorms at Bloomington, and we just build really good, strong relationships, not only with just varsity, but with freshmen and JV and some of the other teams at other high schools.
I've made a lot of more friends. It keeps me active. It just helps me be a better person. It gives me discipline.
Be sure to look out for your Trojan cheerleaders tonight as the boys basketball team takes on Ben Davis at 7.
Thanks, Zach.
Remember to keep up with all the sports action on Twitter at CG_sports. And that's all we have for you today, CG. Bye.